Right. Is there such a thing as black privilege?
Black privilege. OK, so this is to do with Simon Isherwood. Simon Isherwood, he was sacked from his job as a conductor for West Midlands trains for his comments, and this was following an online diversity training course. And after the session ended, Isherwood, and you know what happens, you don't know your mic's still on, and he was heard asking his wife if they have black privilege in other countries such as Ghana. He was basically suggesting that white privilege is questionable, I suppose. And then he was sacked for gross misconduct. But now he's suing West Midlands Trains. So this is interesting, isn't it, Stephen?
Yeah.
Do you think he's got a case?
Do you know what? I think I looked into this, and actually he was on he might have been a conference call, a Zoom call or something like that, and he left his microphone on. And I think if we all... He's 60. And he left a Zoom mic on, and I think we can accept that's going to happen.
Yeah, of course it's
I mean, I spent a year and a half doing online gigs over Zoom, and the amount of people I heard hoovering and swearing at their dog was off the standard, right? That is not something I used to in the world of heckling when I was doing comedy clubs. And I think there has to be a certain leniency that for anything anyone says to their partner. You can be the most liberally minded, accepting, open-minded human being in the world, but what you say to your other half in the comfort of your own home, I think it should almost have some kind of American-style kind of Fifth Amendment that says that is completely akin. You cannot have any kind of comeback from what you say in that environment.
We do have that. The SNP don't have that because they introduced their hate crime bill that said you could be prosecuted for things you say in your own home. But in England, we do have that. You can't prosecute someone for something. But this was transmitted. That's the point, isn't it?
It was broadcast.
This was broadcast, effectively. So
yeah, but again, I mean, that raises issues of privacy and consent. So, I mean, I assume there's some sort of automatic opt-in consent to having the meeting recorded and having it broadcast to everyone.
Yeah.
But was that made explicitly clear to him? Was he read the terms and conditions of that?
Probably not.
And as for, bringing the company into disrepute, he said it on a private internal Zoom call. So the only way it could bring the company into disrepute is if it was broadcast outside the company.
But there's another step to this, isn't there? Is the opinion that he expressed even disreputable? As in the idea of him saying that a lot of people challenge the notion of white privilege.
Well, and this is the other thing. I mean, in training, you're supposed to raise questions. If somebody brings something up, purely for the sake of understanding it properly yourself, you're supposed to question and raise issues. If everybody's got to sit in their hands and just accept the mantras that are handed down to them and just repeat them as rote learning without any understanding, then what use is the mantra?
I mean, what do you think, Stu? I mean, this question of... Because I get what people mean when they talk about white privilege. They're talking about how in a majority white country you're not going to experience racism, which is almost certainly true in most cases. But the problem with the phrase is it does kind of generate a lot of resentment from poor, underprivileged white people who are like, well, I'm not privileged, you know what I mean? It's not a good phrase to kind of encapsulate.
Statistically, in this country, the concept of white privilege would be most upsetting to the vast majority of working-class white people who don't have privilege.
Yes, that's my point.
By virtue of the demographics within this country.
Yeah.
And I think if that was the question he was asking, then he might have had a point, but I don't think he quite phrased and worded it.
Well, no, because he said, do they have black privilege in Ghana?
Do they have black privilege in Ghana? I think that was the fundamental tenet of the question, what he was on, but it wasn't how he went.
But you can see what he's trying to get at there.
And also, it's a valid question. Do they have black privilege in Ghana, where I think the country's 2% white? Is that correct?
It's 2% white, 98% black.
So right. Is there privilege amongst black people there? It'd be interesting to know. I mean, it genuinely would be interesting to know if there is, or if there are other post-colonial paradigms that mean that there isn't black privilege.
But that's what I mean. It doesn't strike me as a racist question.
Yeah.
It strikes me as quite an interesting question, potentially.
Yeah.
But they fired him straight away. And that seems to be the knee-jerk reaction, doesn't it? Straight away, let's just fire him.
They fired him for bringing West Midland trains into disrepute. And regardless of what your view is on white privilege, if you've ever been on a West Midlands train, it is not the view on white and black privilege that brings that train company into disrepute. No. It's its inability to be able to not be replaced by a bus at the weekend.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
It's the sticky seats, it's the they're always late.
After you've been on. No.
What on earth are you implying? It's a family show.
It's almost as if the company, West Midlands Trains, would be better off investing the money in the train services rather than providing this training around sort of elitist morality and also firing staff.
No, I think it's important. I need to know, if someone's collecting my ticket, I need to know that they're thinking the correct way about a variety of cultural issues. That's what I need to know. It's really important, I think.